Welcome back, everyone, to Hidden Treasures with Jimmy.
And I'm Brad, and today we're going to be talking about sowing and reaping. You do not want to miss this one.
All right. And this is a natural law we want to talk about. We know about natural laws like gravity, don't we?
That's right.
And gravity works every time, no matter what,
Every time. Yep.
every time. But there's a law called sowing and reaping, and it's a natural law that works every time. And it's something we weren't taught in school. At least I wasn't. How about you?
Yeah, it's it's not really taught. Period.
Mm-mm.
Or if it is, it's taught mentioned briefly and then kind of brushed over, and that's it. But this right here is the big one. So if you stayed with us for the first few episodes, we kind of been ramping up to this, and we're going to talk about this a lot. But this
Mm-hmm.
right here is the glue. This is what it's all about.
It really is. It has everything to do with how your life is going. I mean, you just cannot believe how much it affects life itself for you. And it's something I had no idea until it was revealed to me.
But it's simple, but it's very difficult to do, especially if you're not open minded. All right, so that's the part. I think both Jimmy and I reached a point in our lives where we basically surrendered. We hit a point in our lives where we're like, hey, I can't do it myself. I know Jimmy's story is a little bit different than mine, but we're on a different journey. But once you get to that point, then you're gonna say, "Hey, I need help. I need to look
Mm-hmm.
at things differently." And I want to be happy. I want to be able to look at the person in the mirror and like who I'm seeing and who's looking back at me.
Correct. And that was something that wasn't happening for me. More and more, I was detesting myself and couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then through an experience I had that I've talked about before, so I won't go into it again. All of a sudden, I was given, maybe you might say, a key that opened a door in my mind and allowed me to see exactly what sowing and reaping was doing to me. And man, was that enlightening, because I realized whatever I was measuring out, it was being measured back to me. And I was bad about measuring out a lot of negativity towards other people, maybe in the traffic, maybe a coworker, maybe a boss, maybe
Maybe a
a
relative.
relative.
Yeah,
And that's normal and natural. We just do it out. Nobody taught us how to judge. We just do it.
we don't even know we're doing it,
No.
and it happens. So this goes back to our previous podcast, the judgment part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you sow, you reap. The seeds you plant are 100% coming back on you. So um, if you judge somebody for whatever negatively or critically, guess what? You're judging yourself.
Mm-hmm. Automatically, you can't stop it. There's nothing you can do to stop self judgment unless you stop judging others.
Exactly. So, Jimmy, we've talked about road rage or,
Mm.
getting called number one while you're riding down the road. I
Yeah.
mean, so you can call that other person number one too, right? And but what you're doing is you're creating a conflict inside of you, all right? And that conflict is going to grow. It may only last for a few minutes, but guess what? It may be enough to ruin your day, especially if it happens in morning traffic. So what you should do is go ahead and pray for that person. Go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and wish good things about that person. Go ahead and lift that person up. And you know, how about that for a curveball?
Mm-hmm.
That right there is going to be good for you, because that, when it comes back on you, is going to be uplifting. It's not going to be tearing you down.
That's for sure. And you can go anywhere you want to with this. I've taken it to a new place where I decided to send peace, joy, love, and light to anyone that's say the truck drivers who move over in a fast lane and takes them. They're slow passing whatever they're trying to pass, another truck or whatever.
Right.
Just peace, joy, love, and light, and leave it at that. And it helps me with my patience.
Right.
It
So
gives me something else to focus on.
And we talked about awareness, and I think awareness is key.
I was just getting ready to mention that, so good job there. And what I would recommend, since Brad just mentioned awareness, maybe don't even try to do this, to start with. Maybe the first thing you want to do is just start being more aware of how you are judging. Maybe just every time when you have something to say, after you've said it, stop and be aware of that and go, was that judgment? Was I angry? Was I bitter?
Was it negative?
Was it
Was it
negative?
was it
Yeah.
positive?
Right. What was that? And start noticing, just paying attention, being more aware of your attention and where it's going, what it's saying, how it feels, and that'll tell you something that you probably haven't noticed. I hadn't noticed. You hadn't noticed until this happened to us.
Yeah,
We were just kind
that's
of out of
true.
whack,
Yeah, very.
out of tune. How about that?
If you disagree with me politically or whatever, I was done with you. I'd burn that bridge. Well, guess what? I'm doing that to myself. I want to be happy. I want to be loving. I want to be joyful. Well, when those things come into your life, you can either react to them positively or negatively.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a saying now is we don't let things that are going on steal our joy. So the underlying theme here is a little selfishness, really, because we want to
Mm-hmm.
feel good about ourselves. But the only way you can do it is you got to feel good about other people first.
And that goes back to us. I'm glad you said that. The best way, instead of focusing on loving yourself, because that that can work. But here's the problem: if you don't focus on loving others, then that non-love you give others is going to come back on you as non-love, and it's going to mess up what love you're giving yourself.
That song by Whitney, "The Greatest Love of All," is a great song, but it's got to start out with loving other people first.
And
Yeah,
if you're not sure, about all this, well, I'll tell you where we got this from. The Good Teacher, the greatest teachers ever walked this planet. You know who I'm talking about. He was known as the Good Teacher, and he said, he gave us a new commandment. A new commandment I give you, to love one another as I've loved you. Love your neighbor as yourself.
were there any exceptions to that?
No exceptions whatsoever.
So he said, "Don't judge," and he said, "Love your neighbor."
And don't hold a grudge. And he didn't say except for anyone.
He didn't say that anywhere.
Never, nowhere.
Well, and there are consequences for everything that we do,
Mm-hmm.
and
Everything.
and good, bad. It's
Nobody's. So that means that whatever they're doing that we have a tendency to want to condemn, why do we need to condemn it? Why not pray for it like we were told to do, which will get us off the hook of negativity, and then let them just live their life, and they'll face the music at some point. Everybody does. I do. You do. Nobody gets away with anything, do we? So why do
right,
we need to judge it?
right. So um, so good or bad, the consequences, the ripples that we send out, they go out and they come
They
back to
come back.
us.
Yep, they always do. So just keep that in mind. We don't want to overburden you, overload you with too much here, but just remember, you can prove all of this to yourself. It's real simple. It's nothing. None of this is complicated, is it?
No, it's very simple, but we never said it was easy.
That's right.
So if you like this video, please hit like. If you'd like to see more of these, please hit subscribe. And what would you like them to comment below?
We'd like them to comment with anything they'd like to talk to us about, with good, bad, or indifferent, and maybe your successes you've had with this that you've experienced, like we have. And we'd love to hear from you. And as always, we want peace, joy, love, and light to be with you always.
Yeah. See you next time.